Hello, my name is Eric Chung. I'm one of the founding members of Vacant Star, a team that was formed during the academic year of 2010 and 2011 at the Parsons New School for Design, along with Jonghyun Lee and Margaret Moser. We are currently MFA thesis students putting together an exciting digital game for our thesis project. What I'm about to take you through is a build from December 2010, which is slightly dated already. This is a presentation that was created in Engine since we're doing a lot of environmental storytelling in our video game. Although 3 thesis students are involved with this project, we had a lot of help from both first and second year students in our program, Design and Technology, but also other students in the city too, like at SVA, School for Visual Arts. I would like to take the time to recognize their efforts because none of this would have been possible without their help. So thanks so much, guys. Anyway, let's get started. The game literally starts off with a bang. The intro sequence we're drafting will show you crashing a small exploration vessel into a much larger spacecraft. You black out and wake up here. Perhaps a bedroom, maybe a little kid's from all the toys laying about. But you can't look around. Not only is everything on fire, but the oxygen is quickly leaving the room from the external hull damage that you've caused. So you run to the door looking for safety. Our game is called Bardo. It's about the story of who lived here and what happened to them. The core gameplay is exploring this derelict ship and managing a limited supply of oxygen in areas where air is running out. But oxygen isn't just a resource or a timer for getting through the passages. There are places where the effects of hypoxia actually help you traverse through the debris. While trying to escape the damaged ship, you'll uncover the player character's tragic past. In places, you'll have to deprive yourself of oxygen in order to maneuver through debris and platforming puzzles. You will also relive and experience the consequences of your character's past decisions. By doing so, you'll have entered the world of the ship's ghosts by depriving yourself of air. Oxygen becomes a metaphor for physical and psychological safety. The infinite void surrounding the ship dramatizes the themes of extreme isolation and abandonment, where the ship itself becomes a heavily psychologized space, physically representing the internal turmoil of the protagonist. Our goal is to capture the player in this story, to create a sense of ownership of these long-ago decisions. We plan on achieving this by exploiting natural gameplay behaviors like exploration and quest completion. Like in the games Braid or Shadow of the Colossus, the types of behaviors that games usually reward will have unexpected meanings. In short, Bardo is Portal meets Flatliners. You'll be intentionally putting yourself near death in order to get through obstacles and reconcile a tumultuous and guilty past. Not all places will be lacking in oxygen, so let's go to one of those places and look around. This is an example of a room that will have full oxygen and allow the player to explore freely. Much of the narrative we want to convey will be instilled in the environment that the player traverses through. It seems like we're in a wet lab of some sort. There are many familiar things like microscopes, beakers, and over there is probably a centrifuge. In the future, we will have more things like distorted footage on the monitors to give the player a taste of who used this space. Currently, we have things like this graph here. It would appear to be an ordinary chart measuring plant growth over time, but the top 2 lines look strange. They're labeled TAM and IO. What kind of plants could those be? In fact, those are the names of the children that used to live on the ship. Whoever used this lab cared for their children in very peculiar ways. And what's this over here? It appears to be a My First Chemistry set. There's an adorable drawing done by IO, it seems. But there's only going to be so much to look at. The player will have to take a leap out of these temporary safe spaces in order to find a way off this broken ship. Deoxygenated spaces will be very cluttered and run down like this long hallway. Here, the player will experience and use the effects of hypoxia in order to navigate the space. But wait, who the heck was that? These electrical wires are in my way right now, but that little girl just ran straight through. Well, that's because she's the ghost of Io. In these low oxygen spaces, you will teeter between life and death, conscious and unconscious. The effects of hypoxia quickly take their toll. One ailment is losing your balance. In Bardo, the rooms and hallways will literally rotate, causing things to topple over and creating or blocking passages. Let's quickly run through. Here's Io again, taunting me and acting like the little rascal that she is. But she's managed to run through some wreckage again. As you can see, the oxygen meter below is decreasing. A rotation will take place at every white notch. Please note, this interface is an early prototype. We plan on naturalizing this further. And here we go. A path is created for us. At the end of these puzzly low oxygen bits, the player will finally reach safety. At these points in time, we'll force the player to pass out. Imagine doing a bunch of push-ups and then standing up really fast. You feel lightheaded and kind of nauseous, right? This isn't death, but a signal that the player is entering a new state of play and exploration. The player will wake up in a strange yet familiar environment. Unbeknownst to the player at this early stage of the game, the player has delved deep into the subconscious memories of the player character. Memories that were suppressed until now. As you can see, everything in the past, in these memories, is clean and tidy. This is what it was like before tragedy struck. Here's Io. She's actually your sister, which makes you Tam. But the player doesn't figure this out until a bit later. So little Io's here, finally sitting still, but she doesn't want to talk to you because she's playing with an awesome robot. So you do the natural thing as a player and start exploring. Seems like there's some other awesome robots laying around, and what looks to be more strange family communication. Obviously, someone has a sweet tooth here. But you turn around, and while you're busy investigating the space, it seems you've lost your sister. And that's where our story begins. The player will regain consciousness and will be forced to continue to find a way off the broken spaceship. Like before, there will be times where the player will pass out and re-experience and rediscover these memories. In these memories, you will find out that you were also responsible for causing your father's death by unassumingly completing a quest that he assigns to you, all the while playing a different kind of oxygen game. A one-button breath management system to maintain the thin line between wakefulness and dreaming. Mistakes could have caused you to wake up or cause you to die. So your dad is gone now, which leaves you with your mother. The quest your father gave you also caused damages to the ship, making it impossible for both parties to survive, forcing your mom to make a very difficult decision, to save herself or to save you. But are you really at fault? Has the player character Tam absolved his guilt? These are all things that you, the player, will decide by playing and exploring the story.